Welcome to the ProCloud UC Desktop Communicator demonstration. I've asked Jenny Detman, my demo buddy, to join. So let's go ahead and join my room. We'll see if Jenny's on the bridge. Okay, she's there. Let's go ahead and connect to the audio.
Welcome to the BroadWorks Collaboration Center. You will now be placed into the conference. Press star for help.
Hi Jenny, you there?
Hey Parker, how's it going?
Okay, great, thanks. I've sent Jason, our customer, a invitation to join the audio here, so let's see if he'll join. All right, I see him coming in now. So you ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Hi, Jason, you there?
Hi, I am.
All right, great. Jason, I'd like to introduce you to Jenny Detman. Jenny is my demo buddy for today's call, and she's going to help me demonstrate the ProCloud UC Desktop Communicator to you.
Great. Hi, Jenny.
Hey Jason, glad to have you.
Same here.
Great. Well, Jason, I wanted to first thank you for joining the demonstration, and I wanted to point out just how easy it was for you to join this call. And I noticed that you're using the Chrome web browser to connect for the audio and the video. And I'm assuming you actually came in through the audio on the browser. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, great. So I sent you a link earlier, and I'm going to show you how I did that. But first, I want to share my desktop with you. So I have the option to share my entire desktop or an individual application. And I'm going to pick, I have two screens here, so I'm going to pick my laptop screen. All right, Jason, can you see my screen now?
I can see it, yes.
Okay, great. Now, what you're seeing is my entire desktop, and you see a little preview window up here in the top right corner. I can move that preview window out of the way. I can also collapse it. I can also switch to one of the many applications that are running on my computer. So if I just wanted to show you one particular application, like maybe PowerPoint or my email or maybe an image or a picture or something like that, I could show you that individual app without having to share their entire desktop. But for the sake of this demo, I'm going to slide that preview window out of the way. And I want to talk about what I did earlier to send you an invitation and just show you how easy that was to do. All I had to do to send that invitation was come over here and copy the My Room invitation that you see right here. And when I click that, that actually copies that information, and then I'm able to go in and paste that to a calendar invite and send that to you. At the bottom here, you see the ability to chat and to text with each other. And just to show you what's on that clipboard, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to paste that information and share that with you, and you and Jenny both can now see that information. So that's exactly what I sent you in that invite earlier, and that's the URL that you click to quickly join this bridge. Pretty easy, right?
It is. No, that was very simple. One click.
Yeah, great. Now, if I ever needed to reset that guest join link, I could do that. So maybe somebody's got my URL and they keep popping back into my room. I actually had to accept you when you came into my conference. So it wasn't like you could just quickly jump in. And I did have to accept you, but maybe I had somebody that's got a hold of the URL and I want to change that. I could easily reset that guest join link right here and then send that back out to you just by copying that room invitation and pasting that in that invite and sending it back out to you. Very quick. Other things that we can do here is that we can collaborate with each other. So not only can I share my screen, but Jenny can share her screen, and I want to do that now, and I'm going to stop sharing on my end. In fact, if Jason, I don't know if you want to share your screen, but you have that ability on your end as well using that same Chrome browser. And again, you didn't have to download any software for that to work.
I do not.
All right, good. I just wanted to point that out because it's as easy as joining that browser and you're using the built-in WebRTC functionality of the Chrome browser. I'm going to let Jenny switch gears now, and now we're seeing her desktop on my screen. And just for the sake of this demo, I'm going to make it full screen on my end. I know you can't see that, but you actually see Jenny's screen, and you've got a button there in the top right-hand corner where you can click that and expand that image to make it go full screen on your end.
That's great.
So that's just one of the nice features about it. And we constantly at Adtran use this function amongst our own team. So when we're having meetings, just like Jenny just took over that share, I'm able to come in here and now start sharing again. And we constantly move the screen back and forth like that. It's really easy if you're sharing documents, you're working on documents together, to pass that document view back and forth to each other. Okay, so let's slide that preview window out of the way again, and we'll talk about some of the other features that are up here. Now we're in a function called My Room, and My Room is both an audio and a video conferencing bridge. Of the 30 audio users that can share the bridge, 15 of those users can have a camera, and that camera could either be on their laptop or their iPhone or Android or even their Polycom VVX IP telephone on their desktop. I want to switch to video, and I'm going to add the video image to this from my camera, and I'd like for you to do the same, Jenny. And Jason, if you have a camera, feel free to turn yours on as well.
Okay.
Okay, great. So that just shows you right there. And if we had more people using video, you would have smaller images on the screen. And of course, we can make this a bigger screen image. And if we've got, 9 people or up to 15 people on the video, it'll kind of be that Hollywood Squares video style on the screen there with a bunch of different images. And you can, quickly look in the eyes of everyone that you're communicating with. For the sake of the demo, let's turn the cameras off, and that way I can continue to show you all the features of the desktop. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to remove the video. Okay, so now that we've seen video, I want to talk about the ability to pull calls from one device to another. I mentioned earlier that we have the ability to join the audio from our desktop computer, our telephone, whether it be the iPhone or an Android or the desktop, any of those devices you can move the call back and forth from, and this is a feature called Pull Call. On my Polycom desktop phone over here, I have a button already programmed on the phone that dials star 11, and when I press that call, I'm going to leave it on speaker so that you can hear me here, and it'll seamlessly pull that call, and you won't ever really notice anything in the background while it's doing this. So I'm going to hit the button. Jenny, Jason, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right, great. So that was the ability to move that call seamlessly from the desktop to the Polycom phone. And this is a wonderful feature if you're taking a call when you're outside the office and then you're walking into your office. You can quickly move that call and never interrupt the call. No one ever knows that you moved that call. And in the ProCloud UC client, if I wanted to come back over and pull that call, I can do it a couple of different ways. I can go up to the calls menu and I can just hit the pull call button. I could also do the Command P shortcut on the Mac, or I could go to the dial pad and dial star 11. So let's pull the call back. Okay, so now I've got you on the laptop, and you should be able to hear me okay here too.
Yep, Parker, that was great and seamless.
Okay, great. Yeah, and even if I wanted to move the call to the iPhone, the iPhone or the Android phones, they use a client. And the client can either use your cellular PSTN audio or it can use your data connection and transfer that audio over either one of those channels. So for the most reliable connectivity, you may want to use the cell phone coverage because often your cell phone coverage gets in a few more places than your data would.
I just pulled the call to my cell phone.
Hey, how about that? Okay, good. And you're probably getting ready to leave for the day. So you could continue this meeting and the meeting will go on and we'll never know that you got in your car and you're driving it. All right, so let's show you a few other features in here. Up in the top right, there's a couple of other options here. So if we were starting out the call from scratch, we've got an option to place a call. That just places an audio call. We've also got the camera option. So if we're making a brand new call, we would use those icons. And then if you would like to just use your desk phone, but you want to orchestrate the call from the client, you can click this button of the telephone here, and that'll actually make your desktop phone start ringing. It'll also make your iPhone or your Android phone ring. Any of the devices in your Follow Me experience, all these devices are shared together. So all of them will ring, and whichever one you pick the call up on, you'll be able to take the audio from that device. So let's move over to the pull call screen right here that you see on the top. This is our active call. And this active call shows us that we just pulled the call back, so it knows I dialed that number. But you can see options to hang up. We've got a hold button, a mute button, a transfer button. We can also merge in people or conference people to this call. We could even park the call. And as I showed earlier, we've got the options to add video. If I wanted to go look at the profile or of any of the contacts that are on here, I could actually go in there and see the information, see the telephone numbers, the name, the email address, etc. of the people that are on this call. And that brings me into the contacts section that you see over on the left. So you see several icons over here, and we've got contacts, we've got chat history, we've got call history, a dial pad, and we also have the hub feature. So let's start with contacts. Now in this list of contacts, you see things like presence. You see right here that Jenny is actually in a call. You see Patrick Foster is mobile, so he's on his mobile device. And it's green because he's most recently used his app on his mobile device. He is available and it knows that. You also see Brian Linehan, he's mobile, but you see an away indicator on him. And then people like Bryce here, you see Bryce is completely logged out, so he's not available for calls. He's not logged into his client. We can't actually see his status. If you have any of your users in your contact list that are actually out and about and maybe they travel into other time zones, the ProCloud UC app on the desktop and the mobile device gives you an option to share what time zone you're in and where you actually are. So you see that Will Stetson's actually in McKinney, Texas, and it shows me what time he's in. If he was on the other side of the world, I'd actually see the time zone that he was in, and I would know when he was available to talk and when I should not be calling during his nighttime in that example. One other thing to point out is the ability to have groups in here. So you can see as I scroll here, I've got a couple of different groups. I've got my favorites, and that's a built-in group, and anybody in your contacts can be added to the favorites. But if I wanted to have a specific group, I can come in and create a brand new group, and let's say I can say close coworkers. All right, so now I have a new group down here, and I've got a few people that are right down the hall from me, and I can just, like on Megan here, right-click her name, and then come down and hit Add to Group, and click that close coworkers group that I just created. Same for Brian Linehan. And so that's a way for you to quickly just to group people together. You could have a friends list, a coworkers list, etc. And any of these you can come in and collapse those and make those smaller. So maybe you only want to see your favorites at any one time. And if there's anybody else on the system that you're looking for who's not in your list, let's say I want to look for folks with the name Dave. So Dave Slifka comes up here, and I have Dave's work number, and I can come down at that point and add him as a contact. He's already in my contacts, or I can chat, call, video call, or call from my desk phone, and I could even join his room at that point. So just like you're in my room right now, I've got the ability to join someone else's room. And as I mentioned earlier, we have meetings all the time where we join each other's rooms. We have a scheduled meeting, and once we're in that room together, again, we're able to share the screens and move the screens back and forth. Other options here, so you see when I click over someone's name, I get a quick select option to chat, make a telephone call, I can make a video call, or again, I can call from my desktop phone. And if I want to see more information about that person, you see these new tabs that are opening up here in the top. So I now have a tab for Jenny. I have that new contact screen that I started to fill out a moment ago. And then I have my room. So any of Jenny's information there, I can come in and quickly get access to that. Now you also see over on the right, I'm going to jump ahead just a moment and show you that that's the hub information. The hub just quickly brings up contextual information that Jenny and I have shared together in different cloud-based services. Now, all those contacts that are in here, if I wanted to chat with someone, all I have to do is, again, right-click or just simply drag my mouse over their name. And let's say I want to chat with Jenny. If I have a history, I can come in here and see that history, and I could quickly come in and chat with Jenny, and I can even share files back and forth. So at this point, I want to say, hi, Jenny. All right, I saw you typing there too, so it lets me know when you're actually interacting with me. And if I want to send you a file, I can do that directly through the ProCloud UC client just by clicking the Send File option, and that'll bring up a dialog where I can then go into my computer and I can quickly select any of those files that are on my computer. And now we'll come back to my room. So, yep, and there's Jenny chatting with me in my room too. So you heard that ding there. That's a little reminder that someone's sending you a chat. And just like a missed call, you notice I had a red number 1 up there that showed me a call was or a text was waiting to happen. So there's another one there from Jenny. And again, I can see that I need to go check that chat. And there you go. This is a private chat directly with Jenny. And then coming back to my room. So let's move on down the list here real quickly. We have things that we can access like chat history. This is just a quick list of all the history amongst all the different people I've been chatting with throughout the week, throughout last week, and so on. And if I want to quickly go in and resume a chat, and again, I'm chatting right with Jenny. All right. Let's move on down to call history. And your call history shows you all of your calls, inbound, outbound, and missed from all of your devices. So that's one of the best features is I can take a call from my desktop, or I could take it from my iPhone client, or my iPad client, or my laptop. And that call history is shown in this history list, and I can quickly come back in and return that call just by right-clicking or double-clicking that phone number. And if I right-click that number, it gives me options to call them again, to do a video call. I could call from my desk phone, or I could copy their phone number and then use it elsewhere. And I could also add them as a new contact. So if I've got just a phone number here, I could add it as a new contact, and it would show up in my buddy list then as other users in the system. Jason, do you have any questions so far?
No, it seems pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, great. Now let me show you the dialer functionality. So the soft phone is a telephone. You've got the ability to come in here and make telephone calls. You can transfer those calls. You can put them on hold. You can park the calls. You can add other people in there. And even if you just want to use the dialer to orchestrate calls for your desk phone, you could do that as well. And you type in a phone number right here. When you dial that number, you've got a couple of options. You can just make a call. And again, that's going to use the soft phone built into the client here. Or you could use video. Or you could click that button and call from your actual desk phone. And again, you have all those functions at the top. I talked about hold and transfer and parking and adding video. All those features are there as well. I mentioned the hub functionality earlier on Jenny's name, and I want to show you some of the apps that we can integrate natively with for the hub application. Hub allows you to share and see contextual information that you've had with the person you're chatting with or on a phone call with, and those communications could have occurred in things like Google Calendar, your Gmail, your Google Drive, Tasks, Office 365, Mail and Calendar, Twitter, the Team One application from BroadSoft, and also Salesforce.com. And any relevant information. So if I went back to Jenny, for example, if you notice when I went to Jenny here, and let's say I started to chat with her, it brings up the hub information over on the right-hand side. And you can see over on the right now that we have Gmail information. So these are emails dated from May 31st, May 15th, June 26th, and so on. And I can scroll through those emails, and I can actually double-click those emails, and they'll open up a web browser page with my Gmail interface and bring that email directly up. If there's any attachments in those, I can click the attachments options as well. And then you also see at the bottom down here, so I've got only out of that list that I showed you earlier on Hub, I have Gmail, I have Twitter integrated, but these on the left here are just quick places to go and check your inbox or your all mail. So these are messages that are sitting in your inbox that are waiting to be reviewed. You can actually come in here at this point and click those and open them up. You can trash them. I know I don't need that email right there, so I'll just go ahead and trash it. And so you've got options here. You could even integrate in with the Team One application from BroadSoft. We can archive that message. And again, we can mark it as read at that point, just like we're in the email client. So a lot of neat functionality in there. And I don't have Jenny's Twitter information in her contact, but if I had her information in here, I'd see that. But you'd also see any things that you've liked in your own Twitter feed, for example. And then for Salesforce.com and Team One, we could also add those in it. This is actually the Team One application. And again, I don't have a lot of contextual information for Jenny in there on that, but anything that I have in Team One, we'll talk about that a little later in another demo. Okay, so that's Hub. And then the last option down here on the bottom left are the settings. And this is where you can come in and tweak your experience. You can pick your cameras and your audio and your microphone, maybe your headset. There's general settings, there's media, there's incoming call settings, and this treats how your incoming calls are treated. If you want mobility turned on where your mobile phone and your desktop phone ring together, you can turn that on as well. So a lot of extra functions here that you can access through that page. You also have the ability to change your profile picture. And again, I mentioned earlier about changing your status. You can change that status manually to something like busy rather than being in a call. But because I am on a telephone call, it actually knows I'm on the call, and I just manually made my status available at that point. So if we keep it busy, it'll change again once I hang up the phone call at that point. And then I'm also showing that I'm in Huntsville, Alabama, and I have my local time here turned on. Jason, do you have any other questions?
No, that was great.
All right, great. Well, Jason, we'd like to work on your requirements and get a quote out to you. I'd also like to tell you about a 30-day trial that we have and see if you'd be interested in that.
That sounds interesting.
Okay, well, great. We have a program called Try It, and the Try It trial will allow you to try ProCloud UC for all the users at your office. You'll be able to load it on your desktops and your mobile phones. It does give you the ability to make outbound calls. It doesn't allow you to make inbound calls with it, but you will get the full experience of making outbound calls. And of course, you can pull those calls from device to device, and you can transfer calls. All of the features of the product in a 30-day trial. There's no commitment required for it. All we need to do is just get your email addresses and send that out to your users. Once I send you the invitation, you can then share that amongst your internal team and invite other users in your office. And at that point, it's all automated, and we'll follow up with you on that after you get that running.
That sounds great. Does the trial include My Room?
The trial does include My Room, so all the features and functionality that we just talked about here, you get that in the desktop client experience. And again, it's a desktop client for your Windows and your Macintosh computers. You also get the iPhone and the Android apps, and will allow you to, again, share those calls, pull the calls from the device to device. You can set up meetings just like this and actually send invites out to your customers.
How does that compare to GoToMeeting?
Very similar to GoToMeeting. As you've seen in this demo, we've got the ability to have video, audio, chat, desktop sharing, and the ability to share that desktop back and forth. So a very similar experience and a fraction of the price.
Okay. And how about the cost for the solution?
Sure. There's 3 different types of users that are available today. We have a basic user, a standard user, and a premium user. And those users cost anywhere from $23.95 up to $35.95. And again, that's local and long distance included to the domestic United States with that service.
Great.
All right. Well, good. Well, Jason, we'll gather more information for you, and we'll send that to you in email and get you started on the Try It program.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for your time.